It was a quiet Saturday afternoon, the kind that lulls you into a false sense of security. I had spent the morning tinkering in the garage, fixing the old lawnmower that had been a thorn in my side for weeks. The smell of freshly cut grass wafted through the open window, mingling with the faint aroma of my wife's famous chocolate chip cookies baking in the oven. Everything felt normal, peaceful even. My son, Jake, was at a friend's house, giving me a few precious hours of solitude. I decided to take a break and grab a glass of lemonade. As I walked through the living room, I noticed my wife, Sarah, on the phone, her voice low and conspiratorial. She was sitting on the couch, a smile playing on her lips that I hadn't seen in a while. I paused, curious but also slightly amused. Who was she chatting with that made her so giddy? After pouring my drink, I settled into my favorite chair, trying to read a book, but finding it hard to concentrate. I could hear her laughter, and it tugged at something inside me. Was it wrong to feel a twinge of jealousy? Sarah and I had been married for over 15 years, and while we still loved each other, the spark had dimmed a bit. I pushed the thought aside and focused on my book. But the laughter continued, and curiosity got the better of me. I wandered back into the living room, pretending to look for something on the coffee table. As I glanced over, I caught a glimpse of her phone screen. My heart sank. The name flashing was familiar. Ethan, Jake's best friend. I tried to shake it off. Surely this was innocent. They were just friends, right? But as Sarah continued her conversation, I couldn't help but overhear snippets. I miss you, can't wait to see you again, and the worst, no one can know. Each phrase hit me like a punch to the gut. The room felt like it was closing in on me. I stood frozen, a storm of emotions swirling inside. Anger, confusion, betrayal. I couldn't just confront her without more proof. My mind raced, recalling the times Ethan had come over, the way he'd lingered a bit too long in our home. I had brushed it off as youthful exuberance, but now it felt like a betrayal of epic proportions. As I stood there, I made a decision. I needed to see for myself. I quietly slipped out the back door and walked around to the side of the house, where I could peek through the living room window without being seen. My heart raced as I crouched down, my breath hitching in my throat. What I saw next was seared into my memory. Sarah was leaning closer to Ethan, their bodies almost touching. She brushed a stray hair from his forehead, her fingers lingering a moment too long. He laughed, and she responded with a smile that I hadn't seen directed at me in months. It was intimate, a shared moment that felt like a knife twisting in my gut. This wasn't just a friendly chat, it was something deeper. Rage bubbled up inside me, but I couldn't act on impulse. I needed to plan my next move. I slipped back into the house, grabbing my phone. I texted Jake, asking him to come home. I'd confront them together. It was his best friend, after all, and he deserved to know the truth. Moments later, I heard the front door open. Jake walked in, still buzzing from his time with Ethan. "Dad, what's up?" he asked, sensing the tension in the air. "Can you come into the living room? I need to talk to you about something important," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. As we entered, Sarah looked up, the color draining from her face. She must have seen the storm brewing in my eyes. "What's wrong?" she asked, feigning innocence. "Jake, I think you should sit down for this," I said, my voice heavy with the weight of what I was about to reveal. "Sit down for what?" he asked, confusion etching his face. "Ethan and your mom, they've been seeing each other," I blurted out, the words feeling surreal even as they left my lips. Jake's expression shifted from confusion to realization, the pieces clicking into place. "What? No way!" he exclaimed, glancing at his mother, who was now visibly shaken. Sarah opened her mouth to protest, but I cut her off. "The truth is out, Sarah. It's time to stop pretending." The air was thick with tension as the reality of the situation settled. In that moment, I realized that this was not just about betrayal. It was about the shattered trust that would change our family forever. As the silence filled the room, I took a deep breath, ready to navigate the storm that lay ahead.